Okay. So you've got this in here. Now, why was it not?
So I'm going to back off a little bit.
Can you hear that above
So I'm going to
yourself?
still
Or is it
speak the
just
way
coming
that
out
I
of my
am.
machine?
And it's not going to pick it up. So I'm going to back.
But it was playing above you earlier, though, wasn't it?
And it's not going to pick it up as badly.
Thought I was going nuts. All right. So there it is.
So I'm going to back off a little bit. So I'm going to still speak the way that I am. And
Okay, so you've recorded some stuff. You've got something that looks like that up there, right? Okay, now we're going to go and import those three sounds. So you can go to, and there are shortcut keys with all of these things, and you may learn them, but I'm just going to show you the old-fashioned way. Go to File, down to Import, and Audio. So there's a shortcut key for that. On the Mac, it's Shift Apple I, or Shift Command I. They don't do Apple anymore. Go find that folder. And let's just do one right now. Bring in the bus passing. Okay, do you look like this? Anytime you bring in import sound, it's always going to go underneath files. I already had this going on, so whatever else I was going to import was going to go underneath it and all the way to the left. All right, so we have some a voice, we have the sound of a bus going by. Let me take you to the left side of these. I know it's hard to see up here because it's so small, but if you look on your own machine here, I can name these tracks. These are, what these are called are tracks, like a song track. I can rename these. So here I've got audio. If I click in there, I can change the name to intro. And then it will change up there. This, however, is the name of the clip that is in there. And I can put all kinds of clips in one track. I can move clips and things into a track. And there are reasons to do that. There are reasons not to do that. And those will come to light. Control Z, just like everything else, undoes stuff. Okay, so what's the problem here?
You can see a little green flare up there. And at the same time, you can see these waves.
So these two sounds are overlapping each other, right? And you don't want that, unless you do want it. But I don't want that.
Not only the green bar up there.
If I've got tons and tons of things here, and I just want to listen to like one at a time, I can mute this one, and it deactivates. See, it's all grayed out. And now I'll just hear the bus passing. There. Okay. And if you noticed, when I clicked mute there, it activated solo here. So this is running by itself, solo, and the other one is muted. Let's go ahead and import the other two sounds, the city construction and jackhammer. You can click on them, however you need to do it, and choose them at the same time if you want. You can bring in tons of files at the same time. They'll just layer on top of each other. So what did I say? City, street construction, and jackhammer. Open, and there they are. Now, why are they grayed out like that? Because the other one's on solo. I got to go up here and click solo to unactivate it, and then everything is there. And just for fun, there's everything at the same time. This is not very loud, is it? This is kind of loud. Jackhammer is loud. So if I just wanted to listen to the city street construction to see what the loudness of it is, I can do that by hitting solo, and everything else mutes out. So what I think we're hearing is like some guy shoveling at a construction site. So those are those things there. We'll talk about effects a lot later. Below that are two dials. One has a minus sign and one has a plus sign on each side of it. This is the volume of this particular track. Whatever is in this track, I can adjust the volume of it. This is really, really soft, right? Well, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to move this over. Super loud, or if it's too loud, I can drop it there. That's called gain, and that's where it was. All right. Down below here, we have something called panning. So when anybody have like stereo, like surround sound in their living room? I love it. So I love watching movies just to be able to experience the sound coming from all over the place. You can make that kind of happen using these. If I wanted the construction to sound like it's coming from over there, I can just dial it over to the left. And if I have headphones on, I'd be able to hear that. If I wanted the construction sign to be over on the right, I do that, or anywhere in between. There are some effects that we can make where we can make it sound like it's coming from this part of your head. It's awesome. Scary, too, which is even better. All right. I'm going to,
So if I know that this is where I'm gonna,
sorry. I'm going to blow this up a little bit so it's not just, and this may be too loud here. All right. What is the difference between, if we look at the appearance of these top two tracks and these lower two tracks, what are you seeing?
The lower two have like two different things.
The lower two have the same, like, repeated thing. What is this called in sound school? Stereo. And if it's just one thing, it's called mono. The thing that kind of sucks about this is, if I wanted to start just putting tracks one after another, sound files one after another in a single track, they have to be they have to be either mono or stereo. So, for example, I can't move, I'm trying to grab this guy. I can move him that way. I can't move him up into a mono. I can move him down here. So here's what I like to do. If it is in stereo, I don't care about that. It doesn't really matter for these kinds of things. I can turn this into mono. So that I've got, and look how much space it takes up. It's hard to see everything else. If everything is in mono, then I can see more tracks. Double click on the City Street construction. Go to tracks and to mix. That's the second one down, mix. Mix stereo down to mono. And there it goes. Do that with the jackhammer as well. And now I can see everything. And now I can move stuff into other single tracks if I need to. Does that make sense? Okay. So recording, importing, moving around. I'm going to mute me here. Let's say that I wanted to build if I listen to this, it may be all right, but if I wanted to have sort of just a cityscape playing, and then a bus comes along 20 seconds later, and maybe a guy's jackhammering throughout, I can build that. By moving some things, trimming some things, overlapping and what's called layering. You see this? This is a big, long buildup to this bus passing. We are hearing this bus come from way down there and then cuts off right about there. Well, let's say I don't want all that buildup. Let's just get to the bus passing. Well, I can trim it, and I can do it any number of ways. When you're in Word and you want to get rid of something, you double click on it and you hit delete. Or if you're wanting to get rid of part of a word or something, you just highlight that part of the word and hit delete, right? Or a paragraph or whatever it might be. Same thing here. If I go in here and click, there's this playhead right in there. And you see a little finger pointing at it? I click and hold, drag it, and hit delete, and that goes away. So now I got less of it. It's not gone completely because I can come here, whoops, I can undo like that. Or if I don't want to get rid of it completely, I can go to the edge of the clip like that. So you got these little dumbbell looking things there. Hold it down and trim it like that. The nice thing about that is that it's not gone completely. I can always go back and forth. But okay. This jackhammer is, how long is this jackhammer? Up here, you've got some numbers. Those are seconds. So that's the time of how long any of this stuff is. So my jackhammer is about 20 seconds long, 18 seconds long maybe. Also notice too that at the beginning of this, there's a little flat line here. And at the end of it, there's another flat line. So listen to this. It takes a little bit for it to kick in, right? It has to go through all of this silence first, and at the end, we've got some more silence at the end of it too. I don't want any of that silence. I just want the thing. I can, of course, trim that like that. So now I've just got the jackhammer from the very start. So let's build some kind of cityscape. Let's just say that I've introduced it up here. You can see a little green player up there. And let's just say that that is my introduction. How do I delete the rest of this? I don't want the rest of my voice there. Click where I want to start and then drag all the way over. That is one way. And hit delete. So now all I have is that bit of me. You can see a little green player up there. And okay, let's say that I'm introducing this. This is my version of a cityscape. Here you go. And then we hear the cityscape. I'm going to start off with the sound of a jackhammer. If I adjust this, you see that yellow line appearing up right there? That means that it is now aligning itself perfectly with this. So as soon as I stop talking, we're going to hear that. You can see a little green player up there. And then immediately we hear the cityscape. Sounds kind of funky. Why wouldn't we be hearing the cityscape all this time? We would be. Unless the jackhammer is so loud, I can't hear anything else. But that's not the case here. So I could have the cityscape starting even when I am speaking. Except that's too loud. Listen to this though. I could choose a bit of this where not much is going on. I know that because it's kind of flat. There aren't any of these peaks. These are all the shovel sounds. This was like the dump truck or whatever it was. I bet this is a dump truck too. Or some kind of big machine. You will get so good at this, you will be able to tell where you take a breath in here just by looking at it. If you cough, if you take a breath, if you do a, just by seeing it, you will know that is a problem. You don't even have to hear it. Like, there's something going on there that I don't want. So I can get rid of this and just start there.
You can feel green. And
Can also bring up my voice so that we can hear it even.
you can see a little green player up there. And
So we can hear the cityscape underneath my voice there. But there's nothing going on in here that is keeping you from hearing what I am saying. So these are rhetorical choices, and this is sound writing. There are choices that I make in order to be understood and tell a story through sound in some way. That includes my voice, that includes soundscapes. It includes very particular sounds that I can. This jackhammer is not occurring at the same time as this. I have chosen these two things in different places and different times and put them together to where it sounds like they're all happening in the same place. I can have that scary, ice cream truck appear and create a different kind of scenario. We could have like mermaids splashing in and out throughout here. What are we doing here? In the middle of, New York City. All right.
you can see a little green player up there. And
This jackhammer is way too long. I can trim it, which just means cut it. You don't have to do this, but what's called clips. I can split it and move that over a little bit. So now I've got the guy jackhammering for a few seconds, and then he stops. And then a few seconds later, he's going to go back at it.
Player up there. And
All right. And then, at some point, I can have the bus come up. Save. Go ahead and save it. And then just hit save and watch. There's going to be a this pop up. Right. Oh, well, there may be a warning that says this is going to save as like an AUP file or something to that effect. AUP.AUP is Audacity's file extension. You can't share or send anybody an AUP file. What you have to do, if you're wanting to send it to somebody or share or whatever, you have to export it in order to do that. And I'll talk about that later. I don't want to give you too much right now. But you need to save the whole project, otherwise you will lose it. So go ahead and save it, name it something. I called mine Audacity 338, something or other. I've already saved it. Whoops. But save, because it does not automatically save like other things do. All right. That's all the kind of stuff I'm going to show you right now. Don't close things down yet. Any questions about this? I'm going to let you play around with this for a little bit, but I first want to show you about sharing. You've saved it. If you click the share audio, do you get something that looks like this? On the right-hand side, you're going to get a button that says link account. So click link account. And this is the audio, Audacity audio.com site. So you have to link Audacity, your project, with this site so that it can bring into, I don't know if anybody's worked with SoundCloud. This is a little like how YouTube kind of works, where you have to have an account, you got to link things in order to bring media into a platform for other people to hear. That's what you're doing here. So link Audacity. And I've already done this, so I'm not sure what other people are going to get. You may have to log in to something, which means provide them, if you do through Google or whatever it is, Apple, your Apple ID, whatever it might be, you may have to do that. Then you'd click Open Audacity, except that your Audacity is already open. It should revert back to that, and now this should say Unlink Account. Then you hit Continue to continue, and it's gonna, what's called render it. It's going to create the file and bring it in here, and now here it is. You can see a little green player up there. Told you it sounded terrible. So there's the thing that I just created, but now it's all in one sound file there. So just like creating stuff in, I keep talking about SoundCloud. I love SoundCloud, but I don't think anybody uses it anymore, or YouTube for that matter. What else is there? TikTok? I don't understand that. So I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to embarrass myself. I'll get my kids in here to talk about it if I need to. It has its own web link. In order for you to share it, you have to come down here to this red box because you have to choose what category it is. You can choose whatever you want. I'll choose sound design because that's what it is. If you go further down, you can choose public or unlisted. You might want to choose unlisted and allow other users to download this file if you want people to be able to download it. Then you click Save. Now, all I have to do is copy the link and send it to you or to me. This is how you're going to submit audio projects that you make in here. The big 3 audio projects, this is how you're going to do it. Right? And I will show you all that again when it comes time. All right? But you've got it recorded here too, and you got to wade through all the fuss, of course, to get to it. But it's fairly simple. All right, any questions about that? Now, of course, when you go back to Audacity and you fuss with it, you've just created this, right, out of this. You've created that out of this. When you go and fuss with all of this, you have to re-share it, re-render it like we just did, and get rid of the old file. Get rid of the old, this one. Because it's not gonna like overwrite it. As you can see, I've got 2. I was playing around with it earlier today, but that's basically the same one. So you're gonna have tons of the same project up there if you don't delete them. All right, questions?
How do you delete one?
How do you delete one? Oh, that's a good question. I thought it would be right there. I haven't had any plays yet. Delete. You have to hit edit and then delete. Other questions?
Can you make the length of how, because in our project it's a certain amount of time for each one, can you choose that other than just trying to line it up with the numbers at the top?
Yes, it does. So how long is this, for example? If I say, you need to intro it, and then you need to start something, and you need to start something at 6 seconds. Without figuring out that. Let's see. Maybe that's under view.
Because I thought I had mine stopping at 30 seconds, and then when I downloaded it onto the audio.com, it took 29 seconds. So
Oh, well, okay. Thanks for that, but if they're not, perfect like that, that's going to be fine. I think I'll have to figure that zoom. View, zoom in. See that? So not only, of course, makes this much more viewable. Of course, if it's bigger, you're going to see smaller increments in time up there. So that's how to do that. Good. Other questions? We will get into some cool effects. We will do more about trimming, splicing, playing with volumes and other things. And if there's like cool effects, I have a project that I wanted to make sound like I was in the car talking to my mom. And so I had me talking here because I was driving, and I had my mom talking in the right-hand side, and the person playing my mom, and made it sound like a cocoon, because it's the inside of a car, and we're driving in the middle of nowhere. So I wanted to have a really cool, like, buffered sound. It took me forever to figure out how to do that, but these things can be done. All right, we've got just a few minutes left. I will shut up and let you guys work. If you have questions, you want me to come and take a look at something, I can do that. Yeah.
I put in my AirPods to see if I can listen to it, and it won't come through.
Okay. If that happens, if you have Audacity up and then go and set something, it might not kick in. What I had to do, because that happened to me, I had to shut Audacity down and then bring it back up. Shut it down, and then go and say, I need this to go into my machine's system. The sound, when you go to the systems and set for sound to my AirPods, then I bring up Audacity, and then you'll be able to see it kick in. You can't even see AirPod listed as one of the things. Shut it down, go back to, what do you have? Do you have a Mac or a?
Yeah.
So you go to,
How do you get back your project?
so open up Audacity, go to File, Open Recent, and it should be the first one listed there. Save, save, save. Oh my God, save, save, save. I've had people lose everything.
It works now.
Good. Other questions? Okay. So work a little bit. If you have questions, let me know. And we'll talk 9/11 stuff on Thursday.